An Israeli missile strike has killed at least 36 people in the southern Gazan city of Rafah. Women and children were brought to the central Gaza hospital after IDF's airstrikes hit a camp for internally displaced people. The IDF said it had targeted a compound belonging to the Hamas militant group and killed 2 senior militants. Tel Aviv said that it was aware of reports that several civilians were harmed as a result of a fire. The incident was under review, they added. The Israeli airstrikes came after Hamas launched a series of rockets on the Israeli city of Tel Aviv, the first such attack by the militant group in several months. Between Israel and Hamas has killed nearly 36,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza's health ministry.
The Prime Minister of the Palestinian Authority, Mohammed Mustafa, has called for a wave of other countries to recognise the state of Palestine. Mr Mustafa was in Brussels to meet with international partners, including EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell and Norway's Foreign Minister, who handed over the official papers for his country's recognition. He says the Palestinian Authority is preparing to be the government of all of the future state of Palestine, including Gaza.
The first priority is to support our people in Gaza. They need every support we can. And I think the best support we can all do for them is to speed up the ceasefire. Every day represents a major loss of human lives and properties and hope for our people.
Meanwhile, the Spanish Foreign Affairs Minister, José Manuel Albares, says his country won't be intimidated for recognising Palestine after Israel announced it would no longer allow Spanish NGOs work in the West Bank.
Spain has always been firm and will continue doing it in demanding an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and the entry of all necessary humanitarian aid into Gaza. And no one is going to intimidate us on keeping doing this.
EU Foreign Affairs Ministers are meeting in Brussels on Monday, where they'll discuss the growing catastrophic situation for civilians in Gaza and the need to respect international humanitarian law. The Foreign Affairs Ministers of Spain and Ireland will also speak to their counterparts about the reasons for their recognition of the Palestinian state as a way of breathing new life into the two-state solution. But as the Foreign Minister of Spain also said, they'll be calling on other EU countries to join them. Shona Murray, Euronews, Brussels.
Left-wing politician Sarah Wagenknecht splintered off from the German Die Linke party last year to form her own party. The Sarah Wagenknecht Alliance, Reason and Justice, BSW, vows to stop weapon deliveries into Ukraine and could promise to split the AfD vote, potentially winning 7 seats in the EU election.
Wir stehen für wirtschaftliche Vernunft, soziale Gerechtigkeit, Frieden und Meinungsfreiheit. Das sind die 4 großen Themen, die wir auch für die Bundesrepublik formuliert haben in unserem Gründungsmanifest. Und das ist natürlich auch das, was wir in Europa wollen.
Deswegen fordern wir als Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, Aktiengeschäfte von Politikern müssen öffentlich werden, liebe Freundinnen und Freunde.
Wagenknecht's strategy of promising higher taxes on large companies and wealthier people seems to be working, as the newly formed party won its first victory in local Thüringer elections, the very first election it's run in.
Ob wir sie wählen, das weiß ich noch nicht, aber viele Dinge, die Sarah Wagenknecht sagt, die sind so, leider. Und da die Politik in den vergangenen Jahren so kümmerlich versagt hat, deshalb gibt es auch diese Partei AfD.
Ich bin völlig Ihrer Meinung und freue mich, dass endlich eine Alternative zur offiziellen Politik vorhanden ist, die sich sehr unterscheidet von zum Beispiel so angeblich hochgepriesenen Nationalisten. Sie ist sehr, sehr vernünftig, sehr schlau, wirtschaftlich orientiert.
BSW could become the top left-wing force in the EU Parliament, seeking to form a new bloc. Yet this could spell trouble for Die Linke due to BSW's strict immigration policies and could impede any merger efforts. The Sarah Wagenknecht party marries socialist economic policies with conservative attitudes towards immigration, but will this be enough? to steer the voters away from populist authoritarian parties in the EU elections next month. Liv Stroud in Hamburg for Euronews.
Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has met with angry residents involved in a controversial demarcation process that will see Azerbaijan take control of their village. Kirans is one of 4 border villages ceded to Baku earlier this month as part of a normalization process after 100,000 ethnic Armenians fled from the contested territory of Nagorno-Karabakh last year. There have been mass protests demanding Pashinyan step down, accusing him of unilaterally giving away territory without any guarantees in return. Georgia's President and Prime Minister have exchanged criticisms over a foreign influence law as the country marked Independence Day. Georgians took part in events to commemorate 106 years since the country declared independence from the Russian Empire. But this year's celebration comes as tensions mount over the controversial legislation that critics view as a threat to democracy. In her speech, President Salome Zurabishvili said the fate of our country is in our hands.
როდესაც რუსეთის აჩრდილი თავს გვადგას ევროპასთან და ამერიკასთან პარტნიორობა და დაახლოება ჩვენი დამოუკიდებლობის, მშვიდობის, შენარჩუნების და გაძლიერების ჭეშმარიტი გზაა. ის ვინც ამ გზას საბოტაჟს უწყობს და აზიანებს, ის ფეხქვეშ თელავს ჩვენი ქვეყნის მშვიდობიან და უსაფრთხო მომავალს. თავისუფალი და დემოკრატიული სამყაროს სრულყოფილ წევრად ქცევის გზას.
But Prime Minister Irakli Kobahidze hit back, saying his government was guarding the sovereignty and independence of Georgia.
სწორედ ხალხისა და მის მიერ არჩეული ხელისუფლების ერთიანობამ და გონივრულმა ნაბიჯებმა მოგცა იმის შეასრულება, რომ ეგზისტენციური საფრთხეების და მრავალმხრივი ღალატის, მათ შორის საქართველოს პრეზიდენტის ღალატის მიუხედავად, გასული 2 წლის განმავლობაში ქვეყანაში მშვიდობა შეგვენარჩუნებინა.
The controversial legislation, which has sparked weeks of protests, was passed by Parliament earlier this month. It requires media and non-governmental organisations to register as pursuing the interests of a foreign power if they receive more than 20% of their budget from abroad. Protesters say it's anti-democratic and could derail the country's chances of joining the EU.
Georgian democracy is seriously dented because of the oligarchic state capture and increased Russian influence. And the primary reason why these people are standing in the streets is to regain our country back and to make Georgia's democratic trajectory intact.
Last week, the president vetoed the bill, calling it unacceptable. But the ruling Georgian Dream Party has a majority sufficient to override that veto and is widely expected to do so.
I'm in Slovakia, a country where disinformation is rampant, especially during elections. The rise of artificial intelligence, media bashing, and foreign influence make this threat even more pervasive.
It's very cheap to influence big masses, especially now in society where a lot of people consume information from various social media platforms.
Many Slovaks are fighting back and offer a glimpse of what the information war could look like as Europeans head to the polls. Watch their story in a new episode of Witness.
The effect of disinformation running utterly unchallenged for the last 15 years has been devastating on social cohesion in Slovakia.
Trending is obviously the Western influence, like that they are through CIA and non-government organizations in Slovakia, that they are somehow connected and they are influencing what is happening in the country.
us about money. One has to do with the electoral process. So the electoral process is unfair, ballots are tampered with, people that shouldn't vote are given the right to vote. Then there is, for example, the issue of climate.